Welcome to the learning portal of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Welcome to the learning portal of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. In today's video class, we'll learn a new topic of operating system, that is access and security aspects of operating system. The content which will be covered is what is security, elements of security, threats of security, attacks on security, computer worms, and computer virus. What is security? Security is concerned with the ability of the operating system to enforce control over the storage and transportation of data in and between the objects that the operating system supports. In multi-user operating system, the concept of security and protection are very important. User programs should not interfere with one another or with operating system. In general, secure systems are those which control the user of specific security features, access to information that only properly authorized individual or processes of the operating system on their behalf will have access to read, write, create or delete. There are three important elements of security. Those are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality. It ensures that information is not accessed in an unauthorized manner. It is generally related to the read operation. So if you have read practice to any of the file, confidentiality is maintained of the files because you cannot write anything on that file. Second is integrity. Integrity ensures that the information is not amended or deleted by an unauthorized manner. It is generally related to write operations. Third one is availability. It ensures that information is available to the authorized user at correct time. Sharing and protection are requirements of modern computing environment, but these two are contradictory to each other as more sharing gives rise to possibility of more security threats. So what are the threats to security? The major threats to security in any computing environment can be categorized as follows: tapping, disclosure, amendment, fabrication, and denial. Tapping is unauthorized use of servicing, whereas disclosure is unauthorized disclosure of information. So in this system of threat, A and B, A is a sender, B is a receiver. Both are communicating with each other on a network. But the unauthorized person, that is C, that is the third threat, is trying to read the data sent from A to B without the knowledge of sender and receiver. That is termed as tapping or disclosure. The third is amendment, unauthorized alteration or deletion of information. In this, sender A wants to send data to B, but the threat has done changes in the network connection by moving the data first towards itself and then doing some changes in the data and sending back to B. So the data is sent to B, but before the changes are made by the threat. Fourth one is fabrication, that is unauthorized fabrication of information. That is, actually the communication should take place between A and B, but the threat is communicating to B on behalf of A. So B understands that the messages or the data or information is coming from A, but the threat is sending it. The next one is denial. Denial of service to authorized user. So it's like blocking. You have DND, do not disturb. So here the threat will put a DND or block the service from A to B. The security threats are represented in the diagram properly. Out of these 5 security threats, the first 2, that is tapping and disclosure, are categorized as passive threats, and the other 3 are active threats. It is clear that in both that cases 1 and 2, information goes to the third party, but the difference is that in tapping, the third party access information without the knowledge of the other 2 parties, whereas in disclosure, the source party willingly disclose the information to the third party. So both the cases, there is no change done to the data, that's why it is passive attack. Whereas the other 3 is termed as active because before the sender sends the data to B, there is a changes which is made by the third party, that is the threat, and then sent to B, or even the blocking is a active attack. What are different attacks on security? The security system can be attacked and penetrated in number of ways. Some of them are authentication, browsing, trapdoors, electric data capture, invalid parameters, line trapping, waste recovery, and road software. Let's see each one of them in detail. What is authentication attack? Authentication means verification of access to the system resources. Now, how can this authentication attack can be done? It can be done by stealing and using somebody else's password and then use it. Use of vendor supplied password, which can be used by only system administrator. Finding password by trial and error method, that is by guessing it. If a user logs on and then goes off, an intruder can use that terminal. Writing dummy login programs to fool the user. So these all are authentication attack. The next attack is browsing. In some system there exist files with access control, which are very permissive. One can browse through the system file to get this information, after which unprotected files or databases could be easily accessed. Confidential information could be read and even modified. That is known as browsing. The third attack is trapdoor. Trapdoor is an entry point to some program. When software engineer design a program, they leave some secret entry point to modify their programs. These are called trapdoors. They can be misused by other programmers. The next is in electric data capture. Use of active or passive wire traps or mechanism to pick up the screen radiation and to recognize what is displayed on the screen is called electric data capture. Nowadays we have lot of softwares which captures the data of the screen and send it to the users. The next attack is invalid parameter. You can pass on invalid parameter which can cause serious violation, like you can put viruses or you can delete some files. So these are all invalid things which can be done on computer. Next is line tapping. Line tapping is almost equivalent to your phone tapping. A special terminal is used to tap into a communication line. It causes access to confidential data. The next one is waste recovery. By using some technique, deleted files can be recovered and password may be recollected. You have various softwares nowadays which helps you to recover the data which is permanently deleted from the system. So if you get those data, you can collect the information of the computer. Next is root software. There are programs like virus programs or worms program which we'll learn in detail in the further PPT. It can attack on your system. Let's move on to the new topic, that is worms. What is actually worm? Worm is a program which is not good for your computer. So we can define it as a computer worm is a complete program by itself. It is written in such a way that it spreads to other computer over a network. But while doing this, it consumes the network resources to a very large extent. A computer worm can potentially bring the entire network to halt. Now, what are the mode of operations in which worms can spread through your computer or through a network? Usually, a computer worm does not harm other programs or data. It just spreads, thereby consuming large resources such as transmission capacity or storage. It denies services to legitimate users, the authorized user. A computer worm usually operates on a network. Each node on the network maintains mailing list which contains the name and addresses of the reachable machine and the network. The worms get access to this list, and using this list it sends a copy of itself to the other computers. If the worm is intelligent, because there are two types of worm. If the worm is intelligent, after reaching a node, it checks whether a copy of itself is found. If it exists, it does not create any more copy. Whereas if the worm is dumb, it just copy itself to all the nodes. So if one node address is having a several places in network, then it would have multiple copy of that particular worm. You can have or you can prevent the spreading of worms by strong security and various checkpoints on the system, on your communication system. The one of the best security for worm or for any viruses could be to turn on the firewall of your system. The next root software is computer virus. What is computer virus? A computer virus is a part of program which is written with clear intention of infecting data or code. A computer virus is not a complete program by itself. It cannot act independently, that it is like a parasite. A computer virus can cause different harm to the system. It can corrupt code as well as your data. Depending on where the virus resides, computer virus is classified as follows. That is, different types are boot sector virus, which resides on your booting file. File specific virus, that can be, if it is a Word file, it will only affect a Word file. If a virus is made for an Excel file, it will only affect an Excel file. If it's for image file, it will corrupt your image file, and so on. General purpose virus can reside on any part of your machine. Memory resident virus corrupts your memory. Command processor virus works on your command code or command level. Now, what are the different methods by which virus infect your file? The various methods are appending, replacing, inserting, deleting, and redirecting. What is appending? In this method, the viral code append itself to the unaffected programs. So, a copy of a virus program will be attached, or it will be appended. Appended means after your data is done or completed, there will be a data of your virus program in that particular file. Next one is replace. In this case, the viral code replaces the original executable program completely or partially to carry out some funny actions. So, a part of a program will be erased and a virus program will be attached to it. So, funny action can be anything, like you go on replicating the opening of a file, or you're opening a file and some other file is getting opened. So any funny action can be performed. Insert. In this case, viral code is inserted in the body of an executable code to carry out several funny or undesirable action. Next one is delete. In this case, viral code deletes some code from the executable program. Next is redirect. This is an advanced approach employed by the author of sophisticated viruses. The normal control flow of a program is changed to execute some other code which could exist as an appended portion of normal program. So you are trying to do something else, but the program will execute in some other order which the virus is directing it to do. Now we have learnt about virus and worm. So what are the differentiation between both of them? This is very important question from board point of view, and 3 points of differentiation for 3 marks. Worm is a complete program, whereas virus is a part of program. Worm can act independently. It does not need support of any program on the computer, whereas virus needs support, so it cannot act independently. Worms does not cause direct harm to the computer system. So data and information is secure. Only thing is it will eat up your resources, whereas virus cause direct harm to the computer system. So data, code or program is at risk. It spread on a network and consume network resources, whereas it directly corrupts your data or code or program. Moving to the last topic of this section. What if virus affect your system or worms affect your system? So you should know that how to detect, remove, or at least what are the prevention philosophies to get rid of that. We'll start with detection policy. How to detect a virus? The answer will be antivirus. But how these antivirus actually functions? Virus detection. Normally, a virus detection program checks the integrity of binary file. Every file on the system, whether it is a MS Office file or it is a PDF file or it is a Paint file, each file have its binary file which have a sequence of ones and zeros. The program maintains a checksum of each file. A mismatch in that file indicates virus. Some program recites in the memory and continuously monitor certain memory and input output operation for guarding against any suspicious behavior. This can be your antivirus program. If there is problem with the checksum, that is binary file, if there is some mismatch, the next policy is how to remove it. A generalized virus removal program is very difficult to imagine due to the multiplicity of the viruses and the creativity with what they are constructed. In that case, removal program scans the disk for the pattern of known viruses. On detection, it removes them, but if the virus have already damaged the data, then recovery of data is almost impossible. So if the bit pattern in the code is predicted, the antivirus system will match it with the database. If the database is not updated of the antivirus, then it's always recommended to update it, because the new viruses which have infected the system will not be detected if the antivirus system is not updated. The last one is virus prevention. User cannot cure the data after viral infection. Hence, the best way is to prevent viruses. For this, user must buy official legal copy of the software from reliable stores or sources. One should be extremely careful about picking up free, unreliable or illegal software. Also, a frequent backup and running of monitoring program helps in detection. Thus, subsequent prevention of different viruses can be done. Before we sign off for today's class, let's have a look on the board questions. What is security? Explain different elements of security. Discuss security threats in computer environment. What are attacks on security? Explain in short the ways in which a system can be attacked. What are computer worms? Explain its mode of operation. What is computer virus? State various type of viruses and the basis on which they are classified. What are different methods by which virus can infect other programs? Differentiate between computer virus and computer worms, and discuss virus detection, removal and prevention philosophies. Thank you. Love and peace from TVM family.